Hey everybody, welcome back to YourStory.com. I'm Vishal Krishna, your business editor. It's good to see you guys after a week. I've got with me today Mr. Funny Raj, or Raj Funny, who heads Zaggle and who's the founder of Zaggle actually. And Zaggle's been around for years now, for 9 years. So the guest today is Zaggle, okay? Zaggle is the name of the company, Zaggle.in, okay? 1 second. This is the name of the company. I'm going to pin that tweet. So I'm waiting for Mr. Raj, Funny Raj, to just come in. Okay, a little bit about the company we're talking to. It's called Zaggle, and Zaggle is an Indian fintech company. They've got over 3,000 corporate customers. They're into expense management, benefits, rewards for corporates. Okay, so I'm waiting for these guys to come in. By the way, Zaggle's also got a gross transaction value of say 3,500 crore or more, or maybe more than 2,000 crores. Let's get into that in a bit. Zaggle's been very successful. They're so good because, a couple of years ago, they were at a run rate of going to about 1,000 crores. Now they're doing 2,500 crores and more. And perhaps what they'll also do is go to 7,000 crores in GTV soon. So I'm waiting for, Zaggle to come online. Okay. So, Funny, where are you? Funny, why don't you come and say hi to me, and I'm going to call you in. As usual, since we're doing this live, every one of us is struggling because this is the first time that many of them are doing Instagram. And by the way, yes, many of you have noticed my beard's gone. Probably this is going to be the look going forward. I don't know. I'm trying to experiment, so let's see. Let's see what happens, right? So how have you been? It's been 8 days since I saw you guys last. What's going on with your lives? Startup survival or startups going up? I wrote a very good story called What Angel Investors Are Thinking at this point of time. Perhaps you want to check that out. I'll send you guys that link. I think it's a good time to start up, man. I think it's a great time. Simply because everyone's experimenting. I just spoke to the innovation officer at Lowe's. And he said he's more than happy to talk to startups such as yourself, okay? So, yeah, I'm going to get the Lowe's Innovation Officer soon, too. His name is Abhay Tandon, and you guys should come and check his interview out. That's probably going to be on June 30th, okay? So, yeah, I'm waiting for the founder of Zaggle to join us. Okay, guys, okay, here you go. There is, so if the Zaggle team is watching, guys, there is no link. Connect Harmeet. Harmeet, I told you there is no link. You have to come to the Your Story handle and say hi to me. There, Funny is here. Go live with Raj. Thank God, Raj is. Thank God for that. Yeah. So yeah, next week I've got some wonderful people. This week I've got some agri-tech companies. I'm sorry, last week I couldn't do it. I'd taken a personal break, and also there were obviously internet issues, like you guys have always noticed while we are working from home. Raj, why don't you accept the invitation and we can go live talking about Zaggle immediately. Raj is here, by the way, guys. And by the way, Raj has been an entrepreneur for 20 years. So you want to know a thing or two about what it means to start up and build a company whose GTV is going to 7,000 crores, right? Raj, accept the invitation. Waiting for you to accept the invitation, Raj. If you're doing it on the laptop, Raj, you cannot accept the invitation. Perhaps you got to do it on the phone. Can you please share Your Story's angel investors? Oh, Your Story had several angel investors. I will tell you that in a bit. Raj, again, okay, Raj couldn't join us because I think they're doing it from the laptop. Raj, you have to do it on the mobile. If you're watching it, send me an invitation from your mobile phone on the same chat, and I'll send you a video invite. Yeah, so next Agri-Tech is tomorrow. I'm getting an Agri 10X tomorrow. Okay, Raj is here. I'm going to say hi to him. Where are you, Raj? Raj is here. Let's see now. Let's see if Raj can come online. Just wait. I'm getting an Agri-Tech company tomorrow. Hi, Raj.
Hi.
You want to turn your phone a little bit this way?
Yes. Does it help?
Yes, now we are there. Good to see you.
Great. Same here. Absolutely.
Little bit towards your left, towards your right. Sorry, towards your right.
Yes.
Little bit towards your right, and get it down.
Down. Is it okay?
Yeah, to your right a little more.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. You're fine now. Let's go.
Great.
I've just been telling the entrepreneurs who are watching this You know that you've been an entrepreneur for, say, close to 20 years. You've been
Yes,
around in Zaggle for 9 years, you
right.
know, and you've got a company that's going to a GTV value of 7,000 crores. That must be
Yep.
amazing. What a journey. In the fintech space. Firstly, before I start, I looked at your LinkedIn.
Uh-huh.
Apart from you going to New York Stern School of Business, I couldn't find anywhere. Did you work anywhere in between in your
Yes,
20
yes,
years?
yes. So I worked with multiple companies, and the first company I worked was with PricewaterhouseCoopers, and
Okay.
that was from 97 to late 2000,
Mm-hmm.
and post and I did an internship of about 8 months with McKinsey,
Mm-hmm.
and post that I founded my second company, which was Yantra.
Okay, and what did Yantra do? Was it software
So,
services at that time or
no, no, no.
consulting?
So, Yantra was, a pure internet merchandising company. So,
Mm-hmm.
focus was, on merchandise. The company was started, in the US, and
Okay.
the whole idea was that, we wanted to follow the model of iPrint. iPrint was,
Mm-hmm.
a great success model where you could just design whatever stuff you want, and they would get it delivered, to your home. And that is how we started. We wanted to do something very similar. The idea was personalization, customization, and the ability to do mass customization. So that's how I started, Vishal, in India. And the idea was that, okay, we'll set up the software center in India because it is much cheaper, than doing it in the US. And then we would do the sales in the US. But, unfortunately or unfortunately, as you would say, that, the NASDAQ,
Yes.
doom happened, and, dot-com bust happened. And then, we decided. So I had a Polish partner called Richard Maziars. And
Mm-hmm.
then what we did was that, me and Richard finally thought that it would make sense, for him to take over the US operations and for me to, start building the Indian operations.
So how many startups have you done actually? Funny.
I have done like one, two, three, four, five. Yeah,
How many?
so
I mean, okay, in our times we look at successful exits. How many successful exits did you
so we
have?
had, so I had like two successful exits. Okay, the first one was a great exit. Those times, it was just a multiple of EBITDA which you would get. No multiplication of revenue or other stuff. You
Yes.
would just get a EBITDA multiple, and and the multiple was also about 6, 7 times. That's it. It was like those were the days when startups were not startups, right? So
And it was
that's
not
how.
even on revenues, no? It was on
It was
EBITDA,
no,
like you
no,
said.
no, not at all, not at all on revenues. So all these things of revenues, and eyeballs. So 2000 was all about eyeballs. Post that it was all GTV, 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 and it is still continuing, right? So how many users do you have? All that used
Correct.
to be there, and then it moved to GTV, and I think from GTV it has to move to profitability maybe in the
Correct.
coming times.
Correct. And you said two startups were successful, the first one and the
Yes,
second one.
yeah.
Eyantra was a good exit too.
Yeah, good exit. Yantra was also, I would say a very, very decent exit because I exited it, part exit was in 2008, part then, 2010, and then the last exit was in 2015.
I have to learn so much from you, and I think the entrepreneurs would appreciate that. Let's start with Zaggle immediately. Why
Yes,
get into fintech? Or, I mean, those days you were doing rewards, I think, or even gift cards. Your
yes,
company has gone through multiple transformations. So I want to cover the 9 years very quickly. What
sure.
was the hypothesis in 2011? Was it just to do a rewards platform?
No, so the whole idea was to do the principal underlying base was to build a very scalable model, right? In
Mm-hmm.
Yantra, in the initial years we were extremely profitable, but as we grew, we saw that the costs were going up phenomenally. Okay, and
Correct.
over a period of time, we saw that as we started growing, the cost went up much more than the profit, right? And because it's like it is a constant investment phase, what we saw. So in that sense, if you look at it, for us it was the underlying base was that scale. Any business which we can scale, right? Margins can be low, but scale has to be there. So with that intent is how we started, Vishal.
And what was the evolution that you went through? I mean, those days there were no smartphones. right?
Yes,
So yours is a very interesting business. It's a B2B2C. Now it's very
correct,
B2B focused. But,
correct.
was it more B2C focused back then? I mean, you had merchants across, you had people who would use these cards.
Yeah, yeah. So if you look at it, we were, but, I would agree with you, Vishal. We had a lot of merchants. We had, tons of, but we have been like B2C was, B2C was, never the, let's say we were never able to succeed is how I would say. We tried couple of times, okay, and both
Okay.
times, we got initial traction. Then there was good, but the mindset is B2B. So B2B and trying to sell into the B2C market is very, very different, right? So and somehow B2C we have not really succeeded. I would say is how I would
Okay.
put it.
How would you explain Zaggle in a sentence? Because it's been through such a big journey. You've got 5 business verticals. We'll talk about that in a bit.
Sure.
But how do you explain Zaggle in a single line?
So why haggle when you can zaggle? Okay.
That's good marketing. That's a good marketing technique. But what does it solve?
So it's a beautiful play, what we have. Okay, so what we currently do, and we have been doing for some time, is digitizing spends for all corporates. Okay, we put in the processes. We see, this particular segment, requires a lot of automation. We come in and wherever there is a payment line, okay, wherever you can say that I can attach a let's say a component called payments to it, is where we look at look at that particular thing as an opportunity. Okay, so for us, digitizing spends to unlock the business potential is how it is what I would
Okay.
put Zaggle as.
Okay, and that would be expenses, expense management.
Expense
That would
management,
be rewards.
rewards, expense management. It could be sales incentive management. It could be we have various metrics management. We have so lot of those softwares we have. We have open banking now, which is really coming up very nicely. So all of these things, wherever there is a payment involvement, right? Wherever there is a fintech involvement, is where we are.
Okay, typically when you go to your clients who are corporates,
Uh-huh.
they already have an expense management system in place, right?
Correct. Correct.
Correct.
So,
How would
so,
you
so,
how would
yeah,
you how do you sell to them? I mean, you give me a suite of products that you can offer as a SaaS solution, right?
correct. Uh-huh.
So how do organizations react to? And I'm sure because our audience would appreciate that you have 3,000 corporates, 3,000
Yeah,
customers,
yeah, more than
right?
3,000 corporates.
That's an amazing set of clients for a young fintech company, right? So
Yeah.
how do you handle that?
So,
Just can you
but
tell us what it means?
see, there are two, if you look at it, very broadly, and I'll tell you not in a very, polished way, but I'll tell you in a very crude way, okay? The
Please.
crude way is that, see, there are two big components, okay? One is sales, the other is cost, okay?
Correct.
So when we handle sales, right, how do we increase sales, okay? We set up the incentive programs, we set up the reward programs, we set up the, recognition programs for all these companies, right? It is basically done to increase the sales, right? The other side is the expense management, okay, which is what controlling the cost, right? So at both these places, we are there, the sales as well as the cost, right? Revenue and costs are the two big levers, in any company's balance sheet, okay, and that's what we focus on. Right. And what we bring about there is efficiency, automation, transparency, the ability to, do multiple jigs on it, right? To be able to see and figure out, okay, how is the reward helping? Okay. How are the incentives helping? How is sale, being driven by, these small factors. See,
Correct.
nobody, you understand that sales people are driven by hunger, right? To achieve more, to do more, they constantly. So, typically if you look at an FMCG company, variable component, especially the incentive component, is pretty high, right? And the whole idea for those guys is to see that, how they can increase their variable income, right? There is where we come, we automate the entire process, we bring in so much of efficiency, right? So much of efficiency. And, we also ensure that, we give them tons of matrices, where the sale is happening, which region it is happening, what kind of reward was put in there, what kind of sales happened. All that, is provided by us.
This is interesting. So I want to get into this a bit deeper.
Sure.
Say
sure.
I have say I'm a SaaS business and
Yeah.
I have global sales, of course. And say I have a sales team, I have an inbound sales team, and I have outbound, say enterprise tech sales. And so in the US, I have about 70 salespeople, and Europe, I have some 50, and India, I have about 40, 30. Okay. So, that's all in all, that's about 150 people out there. Right. And in the past, each of these organizations struggled to keep track on a real-time basis of expenses. But then they had expense management solutions, right? But the problem is, like you said, there was no incentive that, hey, I've driven so much business, or I've got you so many leads, but I've not been rewarded. That problem exists in every organization,
absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
So how, what solution, did you sit on top of the expense management solution to actually tell that, okay, this is a new way of rewarding sales?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we have done is our entire software, is just like a Lego. Okay. So you just build, you just put one block on the top of the other. You can do sideways, you can do under, you can do over. Okay. So that's how our software is built. Okay. So we can sit on any accounting system. We can sit on any HRMS system. We can sit on any sales system, right? So the entire ERP system, if you look at it, we can plug into any ERP system. We have open APIs. We have, it's very easy, simple, DIY for you to just take this, APIs and build into your software, right? So that easy it is.
So after that, I can track all the 150 members in the single day, same day, based on time zone.
Minute to minute.
And I can reward them instantly, but I have to set the rules, right?
You have to set the rules. You have to configure the rules. You have to say that, okay, you will have to also put in that whether, what kind of sales they are doing and, what kind of behavior do you want to incentivize, right? See, let's say somebody does a very large sale, okay, Vishal, but, is at no margin, right? Let's say, the margin is very, very thin. You may not want to reward that sale, right? So a lot of companies say, okay, profitability is very important for me. So, unit economics, as we understand in the startup space, is very, very important. And that's what they would want to do. Right? So this is how, overall, we say that, okay, if you want to configure whatever. So there are and you can do configuration on the fly.
And there are a couple of questions in the audience. Is it customizable by vertical, per industry? This is by a handle called Mom's Desk.
Yes, Mom's Desk. It is absolutely.
It is.
Yes, it is absolutely. It is.
Give us an example. Say I'm an automobile company, and I've got dealers. I've got say Maruti has 3,000 dealerships. They're all sales engines for me.
Yes.
But I want to incentivize them. So how does Zaggle work in that case? Just hypothetically.
Okay. So
or the real estate industry also. Let's take anything you want.
Anything. Yeah. I'll take the example of Mercedes-Benz. Okay.
Yes, please.
So Mercedes-Benz has multiple models. Okay. So there is something called C-Class. There is something E-Class, G-Class. They have come up with a lot of SUVs. They have done, too much of, they are coming up with a new model every, every 6 months, right? That's how they are doing it, right? Okay. Now for them, what happens is that, see, they typically make a lot of money on the E-Class. Okay. On C-Class, they don't make that much money. Okay. And then on the, GL class, even on the GLS, they don't, make so much of money, but they make a lot of money on the GLE. Okay. So that's how their internal, calculation is, because they also realize that possibly if they, if they are able to sell more of GLEs, they would be able to, they will be able to make, much more money, right? Now, if you see their advertising, which is the offline advertising, okay, offline advertising is all concentrated on entry level. Okay.
Correct.
It is not concentrated on, the E and S. Okay. Or the GL, right? Or the GLS. Okay. Now, what they do is, between the cars, sedans, between the SUVs, and between areas. Okay. So if you look at, if you sell, your dealership is in Telangana. Okay. And you don't have a dealership in Andhra. But if you sell a car in Andhra, you will get extra money. Okay. You will get extra, bonus. Okay. Now, why do they do that is because they know that a particular region has got a lot of potential, a lot of value, because it was one area earlier. It was all, all Andhra Pradesh. Okay. Now it has been divided, but, the volumes are not that much for them to, to set up a dealership, right? So they've set up 2 dealerships in Telangana, right? Now, how do you reward the dealership, right? So every sale which you do, okay, at what margin you are doing, then it is left to the dealership. So dealership comes in and, they have got about, let's say, 25, 30, 40 salespeople. Now, each of these each of the sales guys is given, an X number of points for the kind of car they sell. Okay. And if they are able to sell a demo car, or if they are able to sell a used car, okay, they get more money. Okay, because their typical margin, to be very honest, Vishal, is much more on a used car, which is like the Mercedes-Benz assured car, than on the new car, because on the new car there is very little margin. Okay, all margin comes in this, right? So what we would create a program for them is, Mercedes-Benz, then to the dealership to the employees to then we'll figure out whether it is used cars, it is new cars, then look at the margin in each of those used cars. Used cars, they don't have, predictability. Okay, so predictability is a big issue for them. In new cars, they have predictability, right? That they know that this many cars, we can book and we will get. Okay, so it's a very complicated system, right? Depends on, what kind of gentleman is coming into the, dealership. They would look at him, they would ask him some questions, and then start, presenting him that particular car. All of this, for each of these cars sold, how much is it sold for, to whom it has been sold for, everything can be done on a piece of software.
Okay.
This is just an example, yeah.
So, like with your example, I've sold a couple of cars in Andhra, say these demo cars or these pre-owned cars, okay?
Yes.
So it comes into the dashboard of the company. Yes. And does it come, and do the rewards show up immediately on my company account, on the company app that I've got on my phone? Say in this case, hypothetically speaking, a Mercedes-Benz employee app. Do my points show up there? Or do I have to download a Zaggle app for that?
So it depends on. So one thing is that, it all depends on whether you want to download the app and work on the app, or you can just log into our system. Okay, so we give you a username and password for the, for particular, company. And then the company can configure, okay, these are the employees, this is the sales manager, this is the general manager, then this is the country head, right? Some of these dealerships are very, very large, dealerships, right? Okay, so this is how it is configured. Depending on, the moment, if it is connected to their sales system, the moment the purchase is done, the moment they book the invoice, automatically it will show on your dashboard that so-and-so has sold this car, and, he has got XYZ, whatever, whatever be the incentive, it will show up immediately, either in terms of points, and show him that the value of it.
Okay. On the cost side for the company, they have to set aside something on the balance sheet because they're paying the employee on a real-time basis, right?
Yes.
So is it taken out of the balance sheet, and or is it on a yearly basis? Would you recommend that? Look, your sales incentives are X. Keep it in a Zaggle account, and then you could send it off to employees. But it's sent in terms of points, right?
And so both it can be done.
Can you explain the costs though? Can you explain how it works?
Sure. So typically it will be a P&L account. Okay. So in the profit and loss account, it will come, and, they have the points. A is that they can accumulate the points, and then we tell them, each point is equal to what kind of rupees. In some of the cases, they say 1 rupee is equal to 1 point. If the car has been sold for 1 crore, so they will get, 1 crore points. Okay. But that 1 crore points, when converted, will be equivalent to, let's say, $10,000 or $20,000, depending on, what kind of margins they have, right? So depends on, what the company wants to give. Okay. So these points are there in his account, and what he can do, Vishal, is that he can keep accumulating these points and then go for a redemption. Okay, so redemption could be that, he could use any. So we provide about, close to about 200, brands as, vouchers. He can go for experiences. He can go for cash. He can go for, a cash card. So, he can go for a Zaggle card. All of that stuff he can do.
Or I could just use the app to redeem the points in a retail store in your network?
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. If the retail store is in our network, he can absolutely do that.
Okay. And, I wanted to ask you this. Why did you ditch the B2C model? Because I thought if you built all this experience, right, it's only, and anyway, I mean, I as a customer or an employee of Mercedes-Benz, again, speaking hypothetically, I am actually going and redeeming something outside. You could have very easily done a B2C model, or did you try it and said no? Why?
So the B2C model, but typically is like, you have to reach out to, so it's a very different model. B2C is a, different mindset, and, there is tremendous amount of marketing dollars which you have to send, to get the, customers in. It is not that easy, that you will get, it's not. So for example, we have looked at Flipkart, we have looked at, Amazon, we are looking at, Snapdeal. All of these companies have burnt way, way too much money, to earn that kind of revenue, right? So, and of course, the valuations have also increased, other things have also increased. But the point is that, to each success story, there are like about, 10,000 stories, which were not successful. Okay, so we wanted to be very clear. We wanted, predictability of revenues, and that's why we get into that. That's why we got into, B2B.
Did you ever do B2C at all in between?
Yes. We did B2C. We did B2C. But then our investors, wanted us to mothball it. Okay, they said just mothball it, right? Because it was burning too much money.
How long into the journey did you mothball it?
I think about 2 years, Vishal. It was, to be very honest, see, this has been my passion to succeed in a B2C, B2C venture, and unfortunately, I have not been that successful, as of now in the B2C venture.
You've been very candid here. Thank you very much. But I still think you're very successful, because who goes and achieves a 7,000 crore GTV for the corporate business? That is phenomenal by itself.
Yeah.
But acquiring these customers, corporate customers itself is tough, right? You have to go sell them something.
Yes.
It's feet on street sales. It's a SaaS product with enterprise sales.
Correct.
Right? And how did you manage that?
Product. So, for us, we already had, because of eYantra, we already had a good background in terms of, being able to reach out to corporates. We were already the largest merchandising company, in India, okay, in eYantra. So we had the base, and all we had to do was, look at products which are scalable. And the products which were scalable, we, logged on to, Zaggle. We thought, I think we would be able to do a huge successful, story out of Zaggle. And the first thing was that, when we went to Visa, so Visa showed so much of, enthusiasm, because they had not done a product like, ours, which was one single card to be accepted at, multiple stores. It was called the, restricted access network card, which was even in the US, that had not been tried. So they said, it's not tried in the US. Do you think it would succeed? And we started. So the first year, our GTV, gross turnover, value was about, 4 crores. So from 4 crores, and this year we are hopeful of closing it, at about 6 to 7,000 crores. Right. So it's a huge, like you just imagine, it's like, 1,500 times to grow, and year on year to grow, right, is that much more tougher.
So is it because you pushed your sales team to sign up as many corporate as possible? Was it inbound sales? Like I said, I mean, how did you manage it? Did you have to create content to win people to come and say, hey, I need this, I have an expense management solution, but I don't have an incentive management platform. I don't know how to reward my employees. Is that what happened? Who were your talking points? Was it CEOs who came to you and said, let's deploy this? Or was it HR heads?
Okay. So, to be very candid, what we saw was, this was word of mouth. Okay. So the tremendous amount of word of mouth we had, from one company to the other to the third to the fourth. And, we also used a very beautiful strategy. Okay. So, just to explain to, a few listeners, is that, we used a sniper and an assault approach. Okay. The sniper approach was, go into one particular category, take out the leader. Take out the leader in the sense, go after the leader and, grab his contract, right? Once his contract is in our pocket, do the assault approach. That means fire anywhere, everywhere. Okay, so like for example, tires. Okay, so we got Goodyear tire, okay, as our first client. Okay, and the moment we got Goodyear, we got Apollo, we got like tons of those. All means one to all. Anybody, whether he was making a cycle tire, whether he was making a scooter tire, or whether he was making a car tire or a tractor tire. All of them, because we found the use case, right? So the beauty was the ability to build the number of use cases, right? So we found one use case and then built it. So similar in the paint industry now, we have the largest database of painters today. The largest database. Okay, we have the largest database of carpenters today. Okay, in India, nobody. I challenge it, Vishal, that nobody will have a base larger than ours.
That
Okay,
means you're
today,
working with what you're working with an e-commerce player on this?
no, not working on e-commerce player at all. We are working with painters at ground level to
Directly,
incentivize
with
that. Yeah,
okay.
absolutely. You know,
So
through
you're
a
working with
company,
an
through
Asian Paints or something like that,
yes,
something
yeah,
equivalent.
you can say Berger Paints, Asian Paints. You know, we're working with quite a few of them.
Very nice. And that sniper and assault thing, I want to dig in. So
Yeah.
how do you snipe a CEO? How do you, for example, in the paints industry? Who did you snipe
Right.
first? Don't give me the company's name.
Company name, yeah.
Was it a North Indian company or a South Indian company, West or East?
Is
How do you snipe them? Look at
yeah,
LinkedIn.
so
You look at
yeah,
LinkedIn, Raj, or
yes,
what do you do?
yes. So we look at LinkedIn, we look at Facebook, we look at who is the MD, we send him gifts, we send the entire top management. We just pamper them. We reach out with emails. We reach out personally. We use other people's connections. We use our investors' connection. Sometimes I've used Shraddha's connection as well. So, so like that we reach out, through multiple connections. Okay, and then go there and just present them. See, because we know that the use case is there, we know that they have the need. Okay, and it is just a question of giving having the ability to explain to them that why this would be helpful. See, if there is a pain, that's when you need a medicine. If you don't have pain, you don't need medicine, right? So what we are constantly trying to find out is that, what is the pain? Where is the pain, right? So where is it? And, how deep is the pain? So once we know that it's a deep pain, we know that, we will quickly bundle out a solution for them.
Okay, say there are a lot of young startups out here. I know you've been here 2 decades or more to understand that this approach works because you have the network,
Right.
and it's all,
Yes.
and we'll get into the ZAG network in a bit. But
Sure.
so I want you to tell them, how do you manage this? Should startups focus on sniper and assault? It's a tough thing because who would even if you snipe them, would people agree that, oh man, why do I have to take this guy seriously or girl seriously?
See, there is where, what would help is your ability to sell, right? At the end of the day, every entrepreneur in this world is a seller, right? And, the way we want to look at it is that everybody in our company should be a seller. Even my office boy, let's say nobody is in the office. If a customer walks in, he should have the ability to sell, right? Because at the end of the day, sale is what, makes you go, right? Otherwise, there is, you can be very good at a lot of things, but if you are not able to sell, what's the point, right? That's why we have to be, everybody has to be a seller. Even a tech guy has to have the ability to, let's say, make a presentation and sell. Okay, and in my opinion, very, very important is a sniper approach, because unless and until you concentrate, focus, it is so easy to get distracted, because all startups have, huge number of issues. It's not like one issue, it is like I have seen entrepreneurs, who are counting, okay, next hour, what problem will come? Next hour, what problem will come? And suddenly, there is no problem which is coming their way. They get upset. Oh my God, is our business running or no? Because there is no complaint, no problem, right? So then, so that is how an entrepreneur's life is. It's all on adrenaline, right? It is all, cocaine being driven throughout the body, right?
Yeah, don't take that literally, guys.
No,
but he
no, no,
means
not
it. It is like that.
no. I'm just, it's a metaphor, okay? So, yeah.
And interesting, right? Tell me about yourself in a way. How would you do sales? 2011, you had the network. You had sold to companies.
Yeah.
For this concept, did you have to sell on your own at that point of time?
Sorry, lost your question.
No, what I meant was in 2011, when you started up for the 6th time, right?
Yeah.
And you had already sold 2 companies. You had a network. But did you still have to do sales, or did the network give you,
So
business?
network did give us some business, because it was like A, credibility, B, the question of that you are, you are involved with such a large network helped us. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then now subsequently, we were with all the networks and, with Master as well as RuPay. And, we have been doing very, very well with, with all of them, and with RuPay especially. Okay. So they did give, right. But, the question is the team. See, I very, very firmly believe that I have absolutely no talent. Okay, and this I want to tell you very,
Why would
very
you
honest.
say? Why
No,
would you
no, very
say? Why would you say
see.
that you have no talent when you've
No,
sold two companies?
yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Why would I sell the company if I had talent? So, so the reason I'll tell you is that my only job is to be able to find, people who can do the job better than me. Okay, that's the only job I have. So, like for example, we have Avinash who is running
Oh, you
Zaggle.
you read you read my mind. I just called Avinash just before this. He
Is
said
it?
I've been. He said he's been around with you for 9 years simply
Yep,
because
yep.
you believe in the fact that people can do things better,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes,
But why would
absolutely.
you? But why would you say you wouldn't know more? I mean, is
You
it
know, to
is it is
be
it something that you advise startups? Is it what you're going to telling people that look, guys, there are people who can do things better than you. You better give them their due. Is that what you're
Yes, oh
saying?
yes, oh I absolutely tell that sometimes in fact I've been how do you call it, okay, a prey to my own thinking, okay, PREY, to my own thinking, right? Because Yantra could have become the biggest company in the world, okay, not only India, it was already the largest, it could have become, but our thought process was what, everything should be in our control, right? So we had like 650 people at one point of time, and we wanted to control everything, right? To say that, okay, if we take this action, that action. So I learned from it, okay? So Vishal, it was a huge learning experience, though I had made money, but the point is that at the end of the day, what is the value you are adding to the ecosystem? Did you really add a lot of value to the ecosystem or no, right? That is what is more important, right? So while we built a lot of we brought a lot of organization to merchandising, to gifting, and to and to corporate branding. But I think we could have done much more. Okay, and that is
That's
in
interesting.
hindsight. That is in hindsight, and
Okay.
also a
Okay.
regret.
Okay. Why would early entrepreneurs say
Hmm.
early into the journey? I mean, you've
Hmm.
done six now.
Hmm.
I want to know why do they hold on to something? Why don't they delegate easily? Why don't they let go? It's like the torture thing, right? You've been
Yeah,
clamped like that, right? Why,
correct,
why is
correct,
that?
correct. So, it is very difficult. Okay, so to be very honest, with tons and tons, we have 3,000 plus corporates. I am an investor in about 33 companies, okay, myself, okay. And some of the very, very good companies, we have invested in, when we talk to them, it is the fear of losing out. It is the fear of that things may not be done in the best way, or it could have been done better, and that you would see with every you see
Yeah, it's human
lot
nature.
of human nature. It is a psychological thing, and what happens is one, and experience has to teach you, right? Unless and until experience teaches you, there is no question of let go, right? And entrepreneurs have to let go if they want to make the company an institution. If they don't want to make the company an institution, want to run a lifestyle business, it is perfect. We learned. So we made mistakes, we learned. That's how I would say.
And so, according to you, you've made 33 investments, you said, right? Angel
Yeah,
investments also.
yeah,
I
yeah.
want to know from you personally,
Uh-huh.
and do you think age is a factor here? Do you think entrepreneurs mature after 35, 40, after making several mistakes? Or is it after selling one or two companies or failing twice, will they say, okay, let us collaborate more rather than controlling things?
So all of them are true. Whatever you said, all of those scenarios are true. Okay, and each to his own. Okay, some people, they miss out. Okay, and then they
Yeah.
understand that I missed out. I made a mistake here, and I should not have done this, and then start again. Okay, lot of times you would see that they would have like not able to learn it all. They just went on making the same mistakes multiple times. Okay, and some people mature with age. They become more patient. They are extremely impatient, right? And then they become little bit more patient over a period of time. So it is each to his own, but ideally, if you were to say where is the balance, what kind of balance would you strike? I would say, about 28 to 32 is the right time to start a business, because, by then you would have done maybe 4 or 5 years of job. You would understand, how to deal with people, and,
Okay.
would give you a little bit of maturity.
Yeah, somebody's asked a very wonderful question. Okay, you now, as a founder, bring in some senior people. How do
Mhm.
you control them? Or how do you make sure that they work as a symphony with you? Because that itself is a task, because those people can bring in their own egos, having
Oh,
done work,
absolutely.
for
Oh,
not
absolutely.
2 decades or 3 decades. How do you manage it?
It is such a beautiful question which you have asked. It is imagine a non-playing captain, managing the match, right, a live match in the ground. Okay, because
Yeah,
typically what happens is when you get senior guys, okay, and the biggest problem you have to deal with is that they are set in their ways. Okay, they think that this is how it has to be done. Okay, and now if you don't do it, and you say no, let's discuss why we have to do it in this particular way. It's not easy to convince them, right? But also depends, what kind of induction have you given. Okay, so for example, now if you look at all my hires, okay, I typically spend, and all senior hires I'm talking about, I typically spend about 3 months with them. Okay, I have multiple meetings. I do, lunches. I do dinners. I do, I ask them about their family. It's like, by the time we recruit them, we know them very, very well. Okay, but that's all on a, on a person's front. Okay, but how would he perform on the job is something, which he has to do when when the rubber hits the road. That is when you would know, what they would do with it, right? So as you said, it is an orchestra. Okay, so when the piano has to, has to play, or when the guitar has to play, or when the saxophone has to play, it is all in the hands of the composer, right? So he is the one who has to play it according to the, lyrics, right? That's how it
correct.
goes.
Absolutely. I mean, that's so insightful, simply because, most of the companies, the symphony with the senior management goes away.
It goes away.
And
Absolutely,
that's
absolutely.
why in the startup world, you have many senior hires leaving, and
Oh
brings a bad
yes,
name to the founders. And sometimes the
yes,
founders feel bad that why is this happening to us, right?
correct,
And it becomes a
absolutely.
ego clash, right?
Correct.
I've spent the last few years trying to understand why senior people exit organizations.
Yep, uh-huh,
It's usually the money sometimes. It's
uh-huh,
usually also the lack of induction, like you said,
uh-huh,
right?
uh-huh,
And
uh-huh,
sometimes the guys who come from an executive side are far too
uh-huh.
ambitious. They want to
Oh
move fast.
yes,
It can be a
yes,
good thing and a bad thing. And
yes,
that's why, like
yes.
you said, you got to be, although you delegate, you still have to say that, okay, this is what I expect of you, not something else, right? You got to say
Yep,
that upfront.
yep, absolutely. And you need to have a very, very good personal rapport with them. If you don't have a personal rapport, it's not going to happen, Vishal. And it becomes a little bit difficult, over a period of time. And the company gets hurt more because
Yes,
a founder is trying to, douse the fire on the senior management front. And another very important thing is if a senior guy joins you and leaves you, and I'm telling you this is a fact, okay? So all the middle management or the junior management thinks there is something wrong with the company. And while the senior guy is going out, he'll make some comments, which are very uncharitable. Okay, so they are not a
yeah,
very good.
absolutely,
It totally derails the morale of the company, right?
yeah.
That's why you have to choose extremely good, people whom you think, they see. The question is that they may be star performers in other companies. Doesn't mean that they would perform very well with your company. They could be very average performers with other companies. Doesn't mean that they will not perform well with you. So, it is like the same chessboard which you have to play. Okay, when to use the pawn, when to use the horse, when to use the camel, when to use the elephant, right? All of that you have to do, and ultimately the queen.
Absolutely. I love this anecdote. It's almost like a strategy on a war level,
Yes,
right?
war
And
level.
it's like,
Yes.
and for startups, how do they do that? Because see, all of us are clued in, because we get mashed up in our personal lives,
Yeah.
business lives, generating cash. We
Yes.
often ignore strategy. This what you're bringing in is strategy. In
Correct.
multiple, even when you deal with clients or customers, this strategy
Uh-huh.
applies, right?
Correct.
Who's going to pay you
Correct.
more versus who's going to
Yes.
bargain with you and pin you down, right?
Yep.
Who's going to ask
Yep.
you to bring prices down in the long run,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
So,
Yep.
so how would you recommend? What would you recommend them to do? I mean, I'm say, although people say meditate, keep to
Mm.
yourself, be detached, all that, yes. But when it
Mm.
comes to politics of business, it's a
Mm.
different world out there, and you better
Oh
read.
yes.
You read motives. What would you recommend them to do?
So, again, I would say, not one strategy would work for everyone.
Yes,
These are different
correct.
situations, different strategy, but one very important thing is, being mindfulness. Okay, so you should have the ability to understand, absorb. The second very important thing is being intuitive. Okay, if it is possible, become more and more intuitive, because then you would be able to predict a little bit better that this is what is going to happen. Okay, the third thing is that be ready to accept the change. Okay, somebody says I want to leave, just be prepared to accept it. A lot of founders, lot of
Get emotional.
entrepreneurs get extremely emotional, right? They say, no way, I thought we were to build this company together. At the first hurdle, you are like chickening out. Why? So the difference is that everybody has got a different threshold to pain. Okay, so I'm able to hold the pain a little bit longer than somebody else. Okay, and there are people who are able to hold the pain much more longer, right? So it's the whole thing is that whether you are operational in the business or no, but what's happening in the business on a day-to-day basis, you need to know. Things can deteriorate very fast, and things can can rattle up very, very fast, right? So you need to be absolutely in thick of things without being there, right? That's how I would say.
What I like about you about mindfulness is the fact that you got Avinash as CEO. Brilliant man, brilliant young man, and I absolutely love what he's done for you. So mindfulness is always, different people find mindfulness differently. I'm staying on that subject because the audience want you to stress on that a bit more.
Sure.
Mindfulness is what in terms of business? Mindfulness is reading a person's ability to work with you, or would it be mindfulness to understand yourself?
Okay. So the question is, I would go one step back and ask you, why are we hiring, a top leader? Okay. What's the reason? Why are we hiring him, right? What is the purpose of it, right? Is he going to lead the company? Is he going to be the CTO? Is he going to be the CFO? Who, right? Okay. And then look at traits. So if he's a CTO, okay, but, a very rash guy, okay, guy, who is, who will start getting impatient right at, like this. So it's not a guy, you are looking for. Okay. So, as a CTO, tech is premium. Okay. In India, tech is extremely premium, right? You want to have a guy who would have the ability to absorb the pressure and not do upward delegation. A lot of leaders are unable to, absorb the pressure, and they do a upward delegation, to their bosses. Okay. Now, for a CFO, okay, you want a guy who is nuanced. Okay. When I say nuanced, is that he should be a guy who is able to pick smaller things, right? In details lies the God, as they say. He should be the guy who is able to go into details, yet has the ability to see a large picture, right? So that is a very, very key thing, right? If you look at a CEO, right, you would say that the guy has to be a people's person. He has to be extremely articulate. Founders need not be articulate. Founders can be absolutely all over the place, right? But CEOs have to be articulate. They need to be able to hold themselves when they are talking to, prospective clients, because client could be, like 5,000 times bigger than you. Okay, and would have, different kind of taste, different kind of understanding, right? So you should be able to relate to them. Okay, similarly, if you look at it, a chief marketing officer, you want a flamboyant guy. You want a guy, who is able to talk, who has a gift of gab, has the ability to do a lot of this stuff, right? So, but in startups, all of these qualities you typically find in a founder. Okay, so the founder is the one.
You come back to that very nicely. That as a founder, you need to be a combination of all this.
Combination of all of these, it is like, how do we call it? If you have to make sambar, sambar will, you start with dal, but you will have to do a lot of other things to make,
prep.
To give the, prep, to give sambar the right flavor. And then the last thing is, you put some masalas and the sambar sounds phenomenal, right? Or smells fantastic. So that's what you need to do. So the question is the same orchestra as you gave the example is what it is, that you have all these players, each of them have different egos and like that.
And what about mentors? Would you recommend them to have mentors privately? Coaches is a big thing in Silicon Valley now. Every founder has a coach.
Absolutely. So, so one thing, okay. So everyone has blind spots. Okay. What we don't realize, okay, early in our careers is that we have blind spots, and how do we overcome the blind spots? Okay, and typically what happens is an entrepreneur or the senior leadership is not aware of the blind spot. Okay, even if you want to tell them, they're not aware of it. They don't even feel it, right? And there is where the coach helps. Okay, there is where, the coach comes in a big way, to guide them on their blind spots. Okay, the second thing is, let's say, for example, CEO, right? With whom does he go and talk? If he goes and talks to the junior guy about, all the problems he's facing, the junior guy will start thinking of what's happening to the company. If he comes to the founder and starts thinking about, what's happening in the company, he'll say, oh, this guy is not a good guy. He's unable to handle pressure. He's just trying to, do upward delegation. So it's a very lonely journey. How do you manage that, right? So coaching and, per se, coaches. If you have a great coach or if you have a good coach, I tell you, it's a blessing. It's a pure blessing.
I wish people like you coached more. I know you funded 33 companies. Do you find time to coach at all? And how do you, and I think you're right. We need to find a platform for coaching, right? Would you want to coach anybody?
So, I am, how do you
Busy.
call it? I am extremely aggressive in business. Okay. Though I don't appear to be very aggressive, but I am extremely aggressive, right? So, aggressive people, especially in their mindset. Okay. So not that physically they have to be aggressive, but in their mindset, if they are aggressive, right, they don't make good coaches.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So,
but I disagree, because I think you'd make a great coach, because, the way you're able to break down how you run a business is amazing. Somebody asked, okay, all this is fine, but money should come into the startup.
Yes.
What about pricing? What about what's your business model? Can you speak to your business model and how you made sure that money comes into the bank every day, run a profitable ship? And because that's, in the end of the day, that's all, that's bottom line is that, right? People ask you, okay, all that's great, but have you been able to generate money?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So the question is that about raising money. Okay. So
Yes.
There is no good time, bad time to raise. So, I would say that, all times are bad times to raise money. There are very few times which are good times to raise money. Okay. This is what is my, belief. As in when you are able to raise money, if you are in a startup phase and you require, a lot of investments to run your business, my request to you would be raise money as in when you can. Okay. If you are in a lifestyle business, never raise money. Never ever raise money, because, being with.
By lifestyle, he means you're happy doing something small.
Yes.
You're happy with that.
Small. Even, I would say not chasing scale. Okay. Lifestyle is a good business, profitable business. You're not chasing growth. Is what I call as a lifestyle.
You're happy.
Business.
You're content with what you have, and you continue.
With what you have. Yes, you continue, right? Then never ever raise money then, because if you raise money when you are running a lifestyle, absolutely. And the second thing is the ability and the beauty to understand that what can be a lifestyle business and what can be a scale business. What is, if you are not able to understand, 90% of the entrepreneurs in India today, I'm telling you, they run lifestyle businesses, but they're chasing scale.
Yeah, I hope you got the difference. That's the reason they fail. That's the reason why they start going into meditation also. I don't blame them because of the stress. There's enormous stress.
Yes, absolutely. And, they are chasing businesses which are, they will never become scale. Okay. And investors have poured in money into it, thinking that they would become scale. So, there is something called, upfront demand. There is something called, latent demand, right? Thinking that the latent demand is much more than the, actual demand or the current demand is very few people are able to guess that. Right? Very, very few people are able to guess that.
Can I interject here and say, how do you said you're aggressive, and yes, that's what we need in an entrepreneur.
Right.
Does an entrepreneur become aggressive, or is he or she naturally aggressive? Or do people understand that once money is raised, they got to be like that? Would you advise people who are not aggressive also to go not go beyond money at all, or raising money? Please tell us that.
No. It is no. So that's a very different, thing. So aggression is in terms of, growing your business. Okay. So once you have taken money, okay. So you have put the foot on the accelerator. Okay.
Yeah.
There is no going back. Okay. If you put a brake, you have to move your foot from the accelerator. Okay. And the moment you put a brake on it, I tell you, all the gears will go away. And, the accelerator not being there, you will come to a grinding halt. Okay. So if you raise money, it is the ticking IRR which has started. So, what option does it give you? It gives you only three options. A, Okay, you say this is not for me, close down, the founder gets
Yeah.
replaced. The second thing is that, okay, you press the accelerator and you just go on with the theme. And if you become successful, fantastic. The third thing is, what, the company closes down, right? So
That's sad. Yeah.
these are the kind of things you happen, right? Once you have taken money, be very, very careful that you are building. And every entrepreneur thinks that, the business which he is doing is highly scalable, right?
Yeah,
It's
that's
highly,
another
there was the thing,
problem.
yeah, that's
We
another
are
problem,
victims
right?
to our own propaganda, right? Because we
Yes,
believe we are great.
absolutely. Absolutely, absolutely. We are victims to our own propaganda. Absolutely, very well said. That is how it is. And, and lot of times you will see that, we miss the forest for the trees. Lot of times, we'll just miss the forest, right?
Absolutely. I mean, why is that? I mean, is it because of training? Again, go for a coach immediately, would you say? But a lot of my friends here on this chat, I mean, most of the founders, the 55
Mm-hmm.
of them watching,
Uh-huh.
they'd message me saying, can I be the coach? I have no time myself. But
Uh-huh.
but they say that even in industry in India, very difficult
Uh-huh.
to get coaches. They're afraid
Yes.
that they get charlatans, and
Correct.
people who come in for the money,
Right.
rather than for really being a coach. Obviously, you got to compensate them at some point. But
Correct.
maybe, but may who? How do you find a good coach?
So, sometimes the fellow entrepreneurs are very good coaches. Okay. So, like one of the reasons why Bangalore, has become the hub and, has succeeded a lot is that there is much more transparency in terms and, and a very well developed ecosystem in Bangalore, right? And if you look at it, what I see is that, you have a bunch of entrepreneurs who are doing very well. Okay. They themselves are coaches to each other, right?
Yeah, that's a
Why don't you
that's a
do
very
this?
good
Yeah.
thing. Absolutely, go to your own network.
Yeah,
Don't
go
be
to your own
shy.
network. Don't be shy. Tell them that, this is the problem we are facing, or these are the things, I'm scaling very, very fast. How do I do? So if I scale fast, how do I manage? Because my processes are not set up for that kind of a scale, right? So what do I do? Then, the network itself will tell you, okay, why don't you talk to this guy? Why don't you talk to Mondas Pai? He's a great guy at this strategy.
But
He'll
he'll,
tell you
but
he's a
he'll,
great
but
guy at
he'll,
HR.
but he'll grill you.
Yes, he'll grill you to the, to the hilt, right? So that is how I think some of the very, very good companies, and in fact now I'm very proud to say that we are building the same thing in Hyderabad. Okay, and Hyderabad is slowly becoming the place to set up startup ventures.
Startups. I agree with you, and thanks for bringing that in, because I think Hyderabad, we need other places to grow other than Bangalore
Yep.
too. I think Hyderabad's a great
Yep.
option,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
Somebody said your business model. They want to
Yeah.
understand what your business model is. You explained how you add value to a client, but can you tell us
Sure.
about the business model, because they're a SaaS company, and
Right.
they would want to
Uh-huh.
understand how do you do the pricing. And we also have to quickly talk about your global expansion, which you are doing
Sure.
at this point
Sure.
of time.
Sure.
Let's start with
Sure.
the business
Fantastic.
model.
So the model is, typically when you develop a particular software, you do certain kind of projections. So say the software will be built, by this much time, it requires this kind of money. So many clients I will have, I'll be able to recover the money like this. So if I have to recover the money in a year, if I have to make profits, then, if I have to grow, these are the kind of things I would do, which is a very typical textbook, philosophy, okay, and theory. Right? But does it happen that way? It doesn't happen that way, right? So today you go to a client, you say my pricing is 129 rupees per user. The client says, I'll give you 1,000 users right away. Can you reduce the price to 49? Okay. Now, what happens is in a
You're in a
SaaS
dilemma.
company, you're in a dilemma. Do you do that? Do you don't do that? Because, the previous sale which you have done is at 149. Previous to that, you did it at 249. And, what's happening, if I go down like this, I'll need more and more users, right? So you do a fine balancing act. Okay. And the act is such that, you see that, okay, you are not compromising on growth. You're not compromising on the value as well. Okay, so the critical thing is that, people who pay low extract maximum value out of you, because
What do you
they
mean by
think,
that? What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that?
okay, so, guys who pay low extract the maximum value. When I say that, these guys are guys, who would, or these are the companies which will, literally low volume. They'll say, no, this is available, that is available. I'll get a competitor. We already got quotes. We already got this. Their product is better. We seen this. We see, and the salespeople are there to do the sales, right? So they get, literally worked up. They say, sir, come on, we have to do this, Raj. We have to give this pricing, okay? And they will push Avinash, or they will push, their sales head, and say, no, we have to get this client, right? So then, there is where we look at, okay, who is the client, what kind of opportunity he has, can he give, refer, blah, 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 all of that, right? And then we eventually, sign them on, right? The moment you sign them on, they'll say, I want this customization, I want that customization, this, that, and all of that starts, right? So it's a jungle out there, right? It is an absolute jungle out there. And that's why, you see a lot of SaaS companies have started going directly to the consumer, because they don't have to fight for, the number of users. Okay. So, they go, they say, okay, good. A consumer, it is much easier, because consumer is, going to pay per unit slightly higher, or
the
much
small
more
SMEs,
higher.
the small
The
SMEs.
small SMEs, so that's how the market is evolving. And what I think is that, the pricing strategy, you should look at, various, parameters, which is like, how much was your cost, how much is your running cost, fixed cost, variable cost, and then the ability for this, software to go on. So what is the LTV, of this particular customer? If the LTV is high, then you say that good, I'm willing to sell it at a, profitable. Yeah. So
And,
these are
and
the kind of things.
what should be the CAC be if you're doing enterprise tech? I mean, the long tail sales can be what, less $8 per customer or something.
Yeah,
The
it
enterprise
could be,
tech, I've seen organizations spend $100 to acquire corporate. What would you think is a typical sweet spot to get profitable and have LTV?
So, in my opinion, the CAC per se, let's say, I take a corporate and I do 5,000 users versus I were to take individual 5,000 users. Okay,
Yes.
so, so the delta there is typically in terms of cost is about 1/10. Okay, so you will spend about 1/10 to get the same 5,000 versus this, but the same profitability is also 1/10.
1/10 of what? The sales,
1/10 of
the
1/10
spend,
of what
marketing spend.
1/10 of what you would charge a consumer, okay, a direct consumer, a B2C consumer, okay, is in a B2B you would typically charge them like 1/10 of it.
So what would it be? $50 to $100 kind of a thing?
No, much lower, much lower.
Much
Right
lower?
now, right now the range, so per annum, if you say, you are right. If you are saying per annum, but typically it's about $3, $4, $5, per month, per user.
That's amazing. That's amazing. This is really good insight. So guys, when you're selling corporate, don't look at it individual users, look at the bulk level and then the delta or the number of users that come to that corporate, right? And that's how you drive the sales and your costs will be lower too. But funny, I mean, what has been the most difficult time in your life? And can you give us some insight on how you overcame it?
Yeah, so, see, there have been way too many difficult times, and what has happened over a period of time is, we have got used to it. Okay, so, it no longer shocks. Okay, earlier it was, oh, what will happen? What will happen? Today, the philosophy is this too shall pass, right? So this is how, the learning has been, but the tough period for us was about a year and a half, when we were growing at that rapid scale and our systems, were not built to, built for that scale. So, that was a very, very tough time, you had to manage transactions. Transactions were happening like at a rapid speed and you didn't have systems which would support them. Okay. So you didn't know whether, what is coming in, what is going out is matching, not matching. So there were like, those were the kind of issues. And then, the other issue was, to how to hire people, right? So when the company is scaling very, very fast, any guy who comes in has to contribute immediately, right? Because he is coming into the fire. So the fire has already been lit. It's not like the founders who will find the, firewood and then start the fire, right? So here it is a burning fire. Anybody who comes in has to be there, right? So those are some of the things which, were like, which were very, very challenging. Then the regulation, like we used to make huge money out of breakage. Okay. And suddenly one day RBI announced that, there is the breakage is going to, the deaf fund. So we said all our income is going to deaf fund, right? So we become so charitable, earning crores and going to, deaf was something which was trouble for us. So we had to very quickly, change ourselves and see, okay, how do we balance the new? So we have been constantly, that's why, for us, it is a relentless, okay, it is relentless execution, looking at new, use cases, broadening the business horizon and constantly expanding. Okay, so there is not even a single day when we don't look at expanding.
That's great. You have to say hi to my golden retriever. He just showed up.
Hi,
Sorry.
hi.
He showed up and he's not ready to leave. He's just here. His name is Bobby.
Hi,
Bobby.
Bobby. Hi.
He just doesn't want to go.
Good one.
He's
No,
going to
very
sit
nice.
here for a while with me.
So,
Yeah.
so look at it. Huh? He wants to listen to me, So, Vishal, that's a great thing.
Absolutely. One thing is, I wish, for example, this is a very therapeutic thing, right? I spend a lot of
Very
time with him
therapeutic.
because, so you can't do anything. They're like kids. They react in a particular way and you have to get
Oh,
used to it. And I think as founders and
Yes.
as senior executives, right? Life is like that. You have to
Absolutely.
know how to
Absolutely.
handle a situation.
Sometimes you will have answers when you talk to yourself. Okay.
Absolutely.
And in your dog, you find yourself, right? That's how
Correct.
it is. Very,
Correct.
very therapeutic.
And the other thing I want to ask is, we spoke about mindfulness, we talked about sales, we talked about so many things about your experience. You're also one of the few companies expanding globally. You're also one of the few companies hiring. You want to tell us about that?
So,
and what type of hires are you looking at?
So we just, in fact, we recruited a wonderful CTO. I just enjoy, talking to him, a very, very balanced guy. So I think he has been a great addition to our team. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, we are looking at hiring tech is a constant hire. We're looking at project managers, we are looking at product managers, we are looking at, the sales guys. So overall, we are looking at, adding about 150, 200 more people, to our company.
And that too during the downturn. That's amazing.
Oh, yes.
Raj.
So for us, not too much of downturn. If you look at it, Vishal, we have been lucky that way that, some of the products which we thought through. Okay. So,
go on, Funny.
Yeah, I can see.
We lost you for a second. You were saying?
Sorry. So I'm saying that, we have been looking at ourselves, learning, seeing, what are the market potential, market opportunities, and how to grow. See, to reach 7,000 crores is not easy at all. It calls for a lot of sacrifices because especially in a regulatory environment, you need to be constantly at top, right? And that's what we have been doing. And we are looking at opportunities to build, and that's why we are expanding. We look at, Americas as a, great market for our SaaS product, both for expense management, open banking, as well as for our reward and, sales incentive software.
So what's an open banking platform?
So open banking platform is where, it's a very simple thing. We are bringing the bank on your desktop, with many more features by which you would be able to do banking very easily. Okay. So in terms of, lot of, we are building tremendous amount of ability and capability, to the banking. Today, the banking is a large, black hole. What we are trying to do is, to make it a Mac. Okay. The difference between a black hole and a Mac is what we are trying to do, make it as easy to use as possible. Okay. And to bring in tremendous amount of transparency to the banking system as well as the banking transactions.
Oh, that's fantastic. And you've just opened in Canada, right? Just a couple of weeks ago or this week?
It's like a month now.
It's like a month now, right? Okay, and you're hiring there too? Sales again or sales and tech?
We are hiring sales there. The first is sales. Then the second would be product, and along with that solution specialists. Guys who are solution specialists is what we would look at. And post that, we'll look at, putting more maybe tech and product resources.
Okay. Do you think you can do sales out of India itself, or do you need to hire locally?
But, so initially for us, we can do a lot of, inside sales from India. But, in terms of, actually deploying the software, we possibly would require in the initial months, we would require people out there, especially the solution specialists who are able to understand the client, who are able to understand, what needs to be done and what is the deployment like that.
Okay. Shall we take some audience questions? We've
Yeah, sure.
spoken
Please,
enough about
please. Yeah,
ourselves. There
yeah,
are so
yeah. Sure,
many.
sure, 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 sure.
Okay, so just keep in mind that before we end the show, we also want to know what are you reading?
Yeah,
If you're not reading,
please.
what would you recommend? Some books or maybe
Sure,
documentaries or
sure,
anything, resources that can help startups. Okay, let's
sure,
go on
sure.
to questions. This is from Alter Ego Views. He says,
Uh-huh.
okay, you've done so much work in B2B.
Mm-hmm.
You understand how people transact.
Uh-huh.
What does it take for you to become a credit lender or bring credit into the equation?
So, ask him to wish me good luck. That's what we are going to do.
You are?
So, yes,
Are you announcing a
absolutely.
launch of a new product?
No, it's basically open banking we are doing. The only reason we are
Yeah,
doing open banking is to be, have the ability to lend better.
amazing. That's great. So, Alter Ego Views, you got your question. You got your question answered, and I hope to write about neobanking soon. We'll get in
Yeah,
touch for that separately. Funny.
sure, sure,
Okay.
sure.
Now, this is how do you manage cash expenses? A lot of organizations in India do cash kind of payments. How do you manage that?
Yes. So we typically have no cash payment at all. Ours is all large corporates, and all the
Okay.
payments are
Okay.
through NEFT or check.
So this is what I want to ask you. Why can't Indian SMEs get onto your platform? Can't you have some kind of a long tail platform where signups can happen from a manufacturer?
Absolutely. So that's the open banking platform. We'll give them a
Okay.
card. We'll give them the open banking, credit card. We have tied up with Digital Fifth, which is one of the fintech, fast growing fintech digital agency in terms of fintech. Okay, and they are helping us build the entire model on open banking, and along
Okay.
with them we'll possibly launch the credit platform as well.
Okay. And so you don't support companies that are incentivizing their employees with cash, right? They have to do it
No, we
digitally.
don't. They have to do digitally, and that is where our prepaid cards come
Okay.
into play.
Okay. What if a company, this is Nitin's question, very good question. It says
Uh-huh.
SMEs try to reward with cash,
Uh-huh.
right?
Uh-huh.
What is the incentive to get online?
Yeah, so one is, very important thing is if you, incentivize with cash, okay, it is so difficult today to maintain transparency in your accounting system. GST has just brought the transparency to a different level. Okay. Today, if you do incentivization on cash, you don't know, disputes arise, you forget all those kind of problems, which we have seen, all our life, right? So that's why you need a card, incentivization card. And using that card, you are able to keep all the accounts above board. You're not going to save or lose if you use card versus cash, but what will give you is peace of mind and the ability to track where the money is being spent.
Great point. Inner Compass asks, can I integrate Sodexo into this, or
So yes, so
how different are you from Sodexo?
we have a equivalent of Sodexo in terms of a meal card. We have a card called Zinger, so which has got all the employee benefit as well as expense management built into one card. Okay, so Sodexo is still lagging behind there.
You had to go say that. That's amazing. Okay. How big is your partner network? Vyom asks, in B2B, B2C, doesn't this have more potential if you're tied up with petrol pumps, shopping malls? You do that also, no?
We do that, but we do that for B2B. We have not done for B2C because B2C again, it is like to acquire customers. It's a losing game. Okay, you have to put in, way too much money, and the CAC is very high, the LTV is very low, and typically, you end up, fighting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 people, which is not really, which is not really good for the overall economy.
Okay, and do you have an expense management dashboard or something, or is it like one
Absolutely.
kind of screen where I have different expenses and benefits and rewards shown?
Oh yes, so it's a full-fledged, it has got too many layers to it. You want to see where did you spend, how much did you spend over a few months. You want to track it. You want to see that, okay, let's say, you have a split bill. Okay, 4 of you went and you want to split the bill, you can do that. You want to do a mileage tracker, you can do that. You have, okay, let's say you want to set up a trip and say, okay, this is the trip. I want to count how much money did I, spend on it. All of those features are there with you. All of those features.
Okay.
Approval processes through WhatsApp, all of that stuff.
Okay, this is Prachi who asked me, what management concept do you swear by?
Chanakya.
Chanakya. Okay, you
Yeah.
guys should read Chanakya. I have not read. Would you recommend?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why is
You
that?
know,
Any
so
anecdotes? Any
there are,
anecdotes that you used in business?
oh
Because
yes, so
everything,
absolutely.
but people rely, look at Chanakya in terms of war, right?
So
And so,
yeah, so
but how did you relate to this?
so I would say, Sam, Nam, Bhed, Dand. Okay. All these four things you need to use, okay, in your business life. If you're running a business, you're an entrepreneur, you need to have control over all these four, right? And to get control over a period of time on all these four, and you may use one a lot more and and the other a lot less. That's absolutely okay, but you should have the ability to, do all the four.
Okay, for those of us who are challenged with Sanskrit and more Telugu or Tamil or Kannada, what are those four things? What are those four things?
So Sam means, understanding, what do you call, samajna is how it is Sam.
Okay, okay.
Dam means a price. Bhed
Mm-hmm.
means, a secret. Dand means, to, how do you call it? I'm not getting the name. Dand is like, how do you penalize somebody?
Punishment.
Punishment, yeah,
Punishment.
punishment. Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. I absolutely get that point now. I mean, these 4 points I'll keep in mind. I'm going to buy Chanakya. You guys should go check it out. So let's go on with more questions. There's a question from Vyom. What are some important things to keep in mind while preparing a sales presentation to big corporations?
Okay, so 4 5 things which I would say that you should need to keep in mind is, don't clutter the presentation. Number of slides should be, less. Okay, do not clutter each slide with lot of data. That is the second thing. The third thing is that all what you think could be relevant from his point of view, is extremely important. Fourth thing is that if you can put a competitor's name there, okay, that is going to definitely attract the attention. Because first thing is going to ask, if he looks at the competitor's name, oh, what are you doing for them? Okay, that is the very very simple question. So there is
Nice.
where you would be able to catch him in
That's a
case you are already
psychological
doing
thing also.
yeah, psychological thing, absolutely psychological thing, right? And fifth thing is that you should show him a ROI. Okay, that if
Okay.
this is the return on the investment, this is how you will make the money, is how you have to tell him. And
That's
then
interesting.
you're credible. These things, what kind of credibility you have, blah blah blah, is what you need to put in.
So not more than 5 slides?
Maybe 8 slides is how I would say. Typically, I say it's a 9 slider enough.
Okay. Okay. This is a question from Aditya. It says, what is the
Uh-huh.
best time to start up and, what is the right time to raise money, especially when you have traction?
So, best time to raise money when you have traction. When you have traction, that's the best time to raise money, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Logical
Yep. If you want
point.
to,
And
and you want a
so,
scalable
so,
business, yes.
yes. So is it the best time to raise money when the idea is great and you think it's work
No,
that
no,
you
no, no,
know?
no. Not,
Most of
not
them
at all.
think they can
Don't
raise
even
money
try.
on,
No, no,
no?
no. Don't even try it.
Why?
Don't even, oh, you will sell too easy too early. Right? You would be giving off, majority of the company very, very early, and then you will lose interest. Not everybody would be like Sachin Binny to hold 3 5%, 7%, and yet be, billionaires. Very,
Okay,
very
that's
few people. Huh?
so Aditya, I hope it answers your question. There's a question from Prachi again. She says, you've been abroad to study. What do foreign
Yeah.
B schools teach, which are different from Indian B schools, which Indian B schools don't teach? What do you
Exposure.
think? Exposure,
A
network.
big, very big is exposure. Extremely big is, on practical training. Okay, they believe in practical stuff, whereas our guys will
Theory.
push down your throat. So much of theory that you are very good at theory, but practical you are a failure, right? So there's a very important example, which one of the leaders gave the other day. They said, if you have to make a particular product in India, okay, and let's say like airpod, okay, it has got about 100 pieces in it, okay, and now India thinks that India is very good at manufacturing, but for them to make a tool die, okay, a die for one single piece, it takes about 3 weeks, okay, whereas China would be able to do a turnaround in a single day. Okay, and this was by Tim Cook, who said, when you have to build manufacturing, first learn tooling. Okay, tooling is vocational, whereas all we did was, we learned engineering. Okay, so we are
Yeah.
brilliant engineers and we are very bad tool masters. How would manufacturing grow in India? So for that to grow, you need to have this, right? So similarly, the difference between India and, abroad is, you would look at, in the US or in the European countries, there is so much of focus on practical stuff. And whereas we don't have. Second thing is the network which you build, the kind of companies they take you to, the kind of projects which you do. And, the professors are also fantastic. They give you that much time, and if they see some spark in somebody, they say, please come on, and they take them as intern, they take them as assistant, all of that stuff, right? Which doesn't happen, because the density
Yeah, that's because the
in India,
professors there are doing a lot of
yes,
research.
a lot of
Lot
research,
of research.
lot of research. And, and the other thing, if you look at it, Vishal, is that the density, okay, the density in the US versus density in India, there's no comparison.
Absolutely, that's a fair point. I got, recently I got dissed for saying this to the advisor. There was an advisor to the Prime Minister, and I told him the same subject. He said, "People like you give India a bad name." But then I said, the fact that I haven't left the country shows that I care for this. And it's the same thing about you, right?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely means absolutely. I agree with you.
And is that the reason you came back and started Zaggle here?
Yep. So, I came back and started Yantra, then I did Zaggle, then I did Zag Network, and now Zaggle Bank is how we are, building it over a period of time. And the whole idea is, basically, at the end of the day, wherever there is pain is where I want to go.
Nice. That's how an entrepreneur should think too, because you're solving for that pain.
Absolutely.
That's amazing. Okay.
Absolutely.
And for that pain, right? How do you do the market sizing? How do you understand that there's a market for this pain?
So, very, very, critical question is that, all the sizing which you do initially is wrong, is crap. Okay, what you need to really look at is that, you need to look at not the sizing, right? You have to first look at, the usage. Okay, the sizing sometimes, will make you go haywire because we don't have so much of research reports. We don't have so much of research companies, doing research here in India, because India is a very widely distributed, highly dense, country, right? So
our sample sizes are small.
Sample sizes are very small. They will take you somewhere, and you think, oh, it's a very large. And in fact, Zaggle was started, I got a research report done. Okay, and he did a very good job. The current owner of Medici, he was running a company called Knowledge Faber, and Amit Goel did a very good job. So he gave us a thick, 500. Looks like Bobby is also a friend of Amit Goel. Huh? so
I knew you'd say something like that.
So we did a good job. We did a very good job, and and we learned a lot through it. Right? It was about a 400-pager research report. But it's another thing that we didn't follow that too much because market conditions changed. Because market conditions changed very, very quickly, and all research teaches you is good study, but it doesn't really help you that much.
Okay, so that's from mom's desk. So you would say don't study go for if you don't do market sizing, how do you know that it works?
So I'll give you one simple example, a very, very simple example. Okay, so this is example about Manoj Modi. Okay, one of my very good friends went, for an interview to Manoj Modi in Reliance for the CEO of Reliance position. He's a big man there. Okay, and I'm telling on record this thing, right? Because there is a hilarious incident. Okay, and the viewers would love it. Okay, so this guy opened. He had made a 72-page presentation. He opened it, started. So I'm running out of battery.
You want to charge it
quickly? Yeah, I'll take one.
I want to listen to the Manoj Modi story. You can take the phone along with you.
Sure.
You can take the phone along with you. I don't mind. Please, I'm loving this.
Okay.
Why don't you get the charger? Go on.
Yeah, I'll just get a charger. One sec.
So there's lots of questions to answer. I remember I've had a Manoj Modi incident also many years ago. Because back then, all journalists go through that breaking news period, right?
Yes,
so
yes.
I I had gone and said Reliance is going to go partner with some global retailer. I don't want to name,
Uh-huh.
you know.
Uh-huh.
So the simple answer he gave us is,
Uh-huh.
Reliance talks to so many people that,
Uh-huh.
why should we tell you who we're going to partner with? That was just that
Partner
one
with.
sentence he said me.
Yep. That is
But they're
always
very business focused, no? Very, very,
correct.
very, very
Correct.
shrewd.
Oh, very
And
shrewd. And, in fact, the beauty of, working with him. And in fact, if you listen to this incident, you will be you will be amazed at how do they think, right? So their ability to think, the ability to, ability to size the market, okay, is just phenomenal.
yeah, that's something we want to ask. So Mom's Desk, I'm going to tell you tomorrow. You asked a question where we're on about market sizing, and there are so many questions. I love this show because thank you for your candidness today. It's amazing, and all the founders have so many questions thrown at you. And did you find the charger?
Yeah, I found the charger.
Okay,
One second.
okay,
Just
yeah, no
one second.
problem. Keep your questions coming, guys, and I'll try to get as many answered. I think we have Celebrations Party Store to get to also. Okay, there's a lot of
Sure.
brands also asking questions. Go on. So the Manoj
Sure.
Modi incident.
So what happened is, so this guy had made about 72 pages presentation. We opened the laptop,
The CEO had made a 72-page presentation.
Yes. The would-be CEO or
Would be CEO.
the to be CEO, okay, made 72-page presentation. He said, this is the demographics of India, this is what it is, and this is the market, okay. So for 2-3 minutes, 4 minutes, he looked at it and he said, "अच्छा आप एक काम करो, आप इसको बंद करो, इस लैपटॉप को बंद करो." Okay, so this guy, like he was CEO of Bharti Airtel. Okay, so he looked at it, he said, "Oh wow, this guy is asking me to shut up." He said, "आप मुझे एक बात बताओ, ये सब तो ठीक है, okay, ये जो आप दिखा रहे हो मुझको ये सब कुछ ठीक है, बट आपको एक सिंपल चीज मैं बोलता हूँ, ठीक है, अब मैंने अभी इसके अंदर एक मतलब 35,000 करोड़ रुपया डाला है, okay, 35,000 crores is what I have put in. Okay, now you please tell me that, how would I recover this 35,000 crores? Okay, so I'm just giving you a number. Number is much larger, but I'm giving you a lower number. So he said, I have put in this money, okay, and I need you need to tell me that how would I recover? Okay. Now the question what happened is that this guy was totally flabbergasted, said, मनोज भाई इसके लिए तो ये no आप देखिए, आप बताइए, मेरे को कुछ नहीं, मेरे को बाकी आप मत बताओ, मुझे सिर्फ ये बताइए, you just tell me how am I going to recover this amount, right? And so they said, okay sir, it will depend on the pricing, into number of customers, what is our ARPU, all of that, right? So he said, see, the way we have done the pricing is very simple. I asked, Kamla Bain, who works in my house, कि अगर कमला बहन अगर आपको मैं एक वीडियो फ्री कॉलिंग सब कुछ दूंगा तो तुम कितना पैसा दे सकती हो, ओके. So, she said, मैं आपको 300 रुपया दे दूंगी साहब. So, if 300 rupees I will
per
be
year,
able to do
for the year, for the year.
like per month. Per month
Okay.
is what, she said, okay, the 300 rupees per month, okay. So,
Uh-huh.
Manoj bhai said, so I'll add GST to it, उसमें GST add कर दो, तो 350 रुपया हो गया. So, that is my pricing. What Kamla Bain can afford is what is my pricing. So, अब you tell me that how are you going to recover this 35,000 crores which I have spent. Okay, so he said, अब बाकी आप सब छोड़ दो. See, Reliance throws about 35,000 crores of profit, okay, every year. I will think that I will think that I have not made the profit that year. Let the money go to waste. I don't mind. Just tell me how would I recover, okay. Then so they made some plan. They explained. Okay, he said, okay, good. You have come till this stage. Now you tell me that any person who builds so puts so much money, you would expect return. So, our CEO said, yes, you would definitely, expect. So now you tell me, how would I make 3.5 lakh crores? Okay. So this guy was like 35,000 crores himself. He was like feeling a little bit less. And imagine if he has to get 3,50,000 crores. So he said, see, mera sizing ek hi hai. I have a beautiful sizing formula, which is that, Kamla Bain is going to come and pay me 350 rupees. Out of which 50 rupees is for the GST, 300 is mine into this population. Okay, and if you look at Jio, Vishal, don't mind it, but look at the Jio. Jio is built on that model. Jio is all for those guys who are at the entry point, right? and then everybody bought it, right? It was not the question of like,
Yeah. What 400 million now or something.
yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. And then he spun the data story, he spun this. So this was like just phenomenal, means phenomenal, this thing about
Like
sizing.
business planning.
This is how you do sizing, right? This guy's 72-page
So no
presentation. This
rocket
guy's,
science.
no, absolutely means no rocket science, everything known. And, just for that belief, and how it started, when Isha Ambani was, very, very upset with, with the network in the office. The network was not, working that properly. And they said, okay, let's build this. Okay. And that's how they started. So, the beautiful thing is that they don't really, if you really look at it, there is no, timings to them in the office. You go at 2 o'clock in the night, you will find some or the other person there in Reliance headquarters. Okay. Somebody or the other. And this I have heard from, hundreds of people. So that is my, point to you as far as sizing is concerned.
And also the way startups should think, right, about the product and the way it makes money.
Yes.
So
how much
that is the motive.
Afford? Absolutely. Absolutely. The chartered accountant models, those project reports, those research reports, you can just throw, down the Hebbal Road here. There is no point, no this thing here.
Nice. And this is amazing. So this is the follow-up to that question is, how can you now understand whether you're a lifestyle business or you're going to scale the business?
Yes. Lifestyle business, you would want to price it at, 2,000 rupees a month. you would want to price it like, okay, and agree at 1,500 rupees versus, the guy who wants to start at like, free. Okay, and then charge you slowly. So that's the scale business they are talking about. Look at how he has made us so proud. In the entire COVID, the guy goes and, brings in that kind of money.
1 lakh crores, 1,15,000 crores or something.
Beauty means, amazing. And he has not even started yet. Okay, this is just the the geo part of it, right? Then there is Reliance, then there is retail.
Yes.
Right? Even those two will also see huge amount of investments, right?
Yeah, and they're already in the market to purchase a few people who were once dominating.
Yeah, once dominating, who were once the Badshah of Kirana stores.
Yes, yeah. Future Group and all of them. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So next question from Kanish. He says, okay, how do you look at LTV versus CAC when there are two customer profiles you're acquiring on a marketplace? So how do you find that?
Okay,
question?
so depending also, the question is how do you find LTV, or the question is what would you choose?
How do you measure LTV versus CAC when there are customer profiles that are similar, two customer profiles that you're acquiring on a marketplace?
Right.
So I wish I'd understood that question, but
so
obviously
I think the question is probably that how would you do the relation between CAC and LTV? Okay. Mm-hmm. So if if LTV is about, let's say, 4 to 5 times of CAC, you should be able to become profitable.
LTV should be 5 times of CAC, which means if I'm spending $3 a month,
I should be able to earn $15 at least.
That's a good way of putting it.
Depends on various models, various products. Every product is slightly different, but typically 5 to 7 times is how you would look at it.
Okay. Next question from Vyom. He says, what are your insights on how MBA students should focus more on before coming into the industry? What should they focus on before coming into industry?
So what they should, they should do internships, as many internships as possible. My daughter is 18 and 18, and what I'm telling her is do as many internships as possible, because what you would learn on the shop floor, ground floor, on the, on the market, on the road, you would never be able to learn in those books. Those books are, they will just teach you theory. They will not, tell you practical stuff, right? As many internships you can do, find a mentor, find, people who are there, who are industry experts, try and talk to them, because a lot of industry experts also want to talk to young students because they want to give back to the society. They want to give back, to the world where they came from, right? And a lot of them you would see will say that if at all, I would have found somebody who would have coached me, right? Or who would have mentored me, I probably would have made better choices. A lot of them have that, feeling.
Okay, great point. What is your take on, this is from Madhvi. She says, after the COVID hit, What is your take for startups? What is the scenario like? Would you, as an investor, go invest with them? What type of ideas, otherwise, if at all? And what about their business? What should they do?
So it is going to be tough, and that is not something which is unknown. It is going to be tough, but I tell you, this is the best time to build business. Okay, because people will be able to give you some time. People will be patient. People will understand if you're not scaling too fast. Overall, it is going to be a phenomenal time for you to be able to build a good product or a good venture, because right now everything is at a low. Okay, and you would see the moment there is some or the other solution to this virus, you would see that the amount of economic activity which would pick
That'll
up
happen.
is going to
Come
be
back.
tremendous. Yeah.
Because there's cash. Banks have not
There's
fallen
cash.
off
Yeah,
like 2008.
oh, absolutely, means absolutely. I fully agree with you. There are too many these things, right?
Right. Then this is a question on what does Zaggle mean?
I don't know what Zaggle means. I know that, don't haggle, just Zaggle.
You just picked it up like that?
I don't, yeah, no, so because Zaggle was basically an antidote to haggle. And, I was trying to figure out, when I was trying to build a B2C company, that is when, I picked up, the word Zaggle, which was basically, against haggle.
Nice. I mean, I before I met you guys, before I'd even heard of you guys, okay? I mean, I know there was a lot of people saying you must talk to Zaggle. I thought it was a soft drink or something like that. Really, but then I met Avinash, of course, and and the rest is history. I mean, Avinash is a great guy. So
Phenomenal.
okay, there's more questions. There's more people saying that thank you for this. It's amazing. What do you think about JioMart? And do you see yourself playing a role with JioMart and also Reliance Jio?
I think, of course, we would definitely, somehow or the other would get into that JioMart. I think there are a lot of pieces which are still to be built in the JioMart. It is, right now, I would say, still in its infancy. And the kind of problems. So if you typically look at, Reliance, they are very, very good at B2B. And at B2C with Reliance Retail, they have found some success, but they are still far away. Okay.
Yeah, and think about it. And you're saying still far away. They're already 1,20,000 crores in revenues. And India is a huge consumption story.
Yeah, huge consumption story. And the way what. So it is like the same kind of feeling when Sachin Tendulkar comes into bat. You feel that he's going to score 100 every time, and that's what the same feeling is with Reliance. But the Jio Payments Bank has collapsed. There is nothing out there. So I think they're also learning the nuances of the game now. And JioMart is probably is going to take on Amazon, at least the biggest right now in India. And
it's going to be a big battle. It's a beautiful battle.
Very, very huge battle. And JioMart is not just going to be a merchant. They would have a lot of ancillary and adjacent units. Okay, so one would be payment, one would be software, the third would be how the shop fronts are built. So a lot of those stuff they would do.
It's interesting. People are already drawing inferences of the old wars, like the Maratha versus the British kind of war. When you look at Reliance versus Amazon, right? It's an amazing. Let's see what happens. Because they've already gotten head start, Amazon. Let's see what Reliance pulls through.
Correct.
Right? Okay. Yeah, if they can understand Kamala Ben and her wallet, definitely they're onto something there.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Right. There's a question again. Kanish says, okay, he's given us context to his previous question. He says quickly, as an influencer to marketing marketplaces, they spend money on acquiring brands as well as influencers. They have different customer acquisition costs. Okay. So he goes on to add, he wants to understand how do you calculate the weighted LTV to CAC ratio, or is it two separate calculations, LTV to CAC ratios for different customers?
I would suggest, Vishal, if you can pass on my email ID or a phone number to him.
What's your email ID? Okay. Give me your email ID.
It is RAJ at ZAGG.
Zaggle.
ZAGG.network.
.network. Yeah, the Zag network, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Okay, got it. Raj at Zag.network.
Yeah.
Correct? Is that the one? I've just put it in.
Yeah. Yep, yep.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, that's good. Ganesh, get in touch with him and he will tell you what to do. Okay, what is the scope for hyperlocal convenience models by taking data from yours? You know, it's also, you'll have, if you have 3,000 customers, it's also 3,000 into thousands of customers who
Oh,
are also consuming.
yes.
How
Oh,
can you use
yes.
that?
Yes. So, so that's our part of lending. That is what, we are building the product there because, so there is for every corporate they have two doors. One is a
Mm-hmm.
back door, one is a front door. Front
Mm-hmm.
door are their customers. Okay. The back
Correct.
door is their suppliers. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
what do you typically call as, forward and backward, right?
Mm-hmm.
So imagine, the number of suppliers, who are there and number of suppliers to those suppliers. Okay. And like that, if you do, at least there are two or three chains there, right? So if I just take an example of, let's say Dr. Reddy's. Okay. Dr.
Yes.
Reddy's will have tremendous amount of, suppliers who would be
Mm.
supplying, APIs,
Mm.
ingredient, blah, 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 a lot of that stuff, right? So all those plus, they would be selling to, they have distributors, they have like, customers, they sell APIs, they sell formulations, they sell a lot of that stuff, right? So their entire ecosystem, if I look at it, right, is about 50,000 crores. Just
Yeah,
Dr.
that's
Reddy's
true.
infrastructure, right? Because there are suppliers, there are, customers, all of them are within our reach if we tap them. I'm just giving you an example, right? So similarly to, like Infosys, similarly to, Wipro. And if you see, if you are able to tap into Wipro and then do the backward forward, you have a very large market you're talking about. And that's what we are about to crack.
Okay, good.
Our,
All the
our
best to you
entire
there.
focus is there. Yeah, our entire
Okay.
focus is there.
Okay. Next, last two questions that we have, and it's been a wonderful session. I don't know how to just keep in mind what books or movies or documentaries. Okay, this is
Sure.
Aditya again. Says, he says being an entrepreneur, the mind becomes explosive, starts settling on different ideas. How do you stay focused?
Okay, so very very simple thought is any
Mm-hmm.
idea which is in your mind, okay,
Mm-hmm.
you know, try to remember it after 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
Forget it for 10 days, and if you
Mm-hmm.
still remember it, it is worth considering.
If you still remember the idea, you mean?
Yes, if you still remember the idea, you think about an idea, and it stays with you, and after 10 days, you are able to absolutely remember it and say, this is the best way. Yeah, why not? Fantastic.
You
That
know,
would
you
be.
know, you've been such a wonderful person tonight. I've, I didn't ask for more, but you gave us so much. I think this is
Thank you
the
so
best
much.
session I've done in a long time. I've done about 60 of these sessions, and you are so amazing. Thank you for all
Oh,
that
thank you so
insight.
much. Thank
I
you
need to
so much.
ask you one more question. What are you
Yes.
reading? What would you recommend to the audience watching? Any documentaries, movies,
Yeah. Yeah.
books?
Okay. So, so I'm, maybe all the audiences may not enjoy, what I enjoy.
Hmm.
But like, two, three books which have stayed with me all my life.
Hmm.
One is a story about, how a guy who came from a very poor background, okay,
Hmm.
and built, a very large business. So this was, a book called Cain and Abel,
Hmm.
by Jeffrey Archer.
Yeah, Jeffrey
Okay,
Archer.
fiction, yeah, Jeffrey Archer, right?
Hmm.
So the other thing which I really, really enjoyed was If Tomorrow Comes by, all fiction, Sidney Sheldon. Okay, so Sidney Sheldon's book If Tomorrow Comes, if you see, how a person defeats, two chess masters was a beautiful, beautiful, what you call nuanced understanding, of a situation, right? So somebody who's that good, right? The third book which I really really would recommend is Good to Great. Okay.
Yeah.
And which is like a ever favorite. The last book which I am reading right now, the book which I'm reading is Why Do You Sleep.
Why do you sleep?
Yes, yes. So that's a
What's it
book which
about?
I'm. Yes, it's all about the sleep patterns. It's about why one needs sleep, what kind of sleep, how much sleep is required. Sleeping more, sleeping less. How do you do the balancing? All of that about. So it's the entire chemistry, biology about sleep.
Okay, that's amazing, Raj. And there's so many entrepreneurs now saying, please ask my question. I'm going to pick one. Amit says he's building a C2C platform for manufacturing.
Wow.
Where do you start? I mean, if he's already launched it, is it a good time to go and win customers, or
Oh,
is
the
it
best time. I mean,
where best time?
best time. I would say you are so lucky that COVID happened, and I tell you, like I envy you. Okay, I envy you because you are starting the business at a time, which could not be more opportune and correct.
Amazing, amazing. So go try your idea, Amit. And if you have more thoughts, then it's Raj at Zaggle.network. Write to
Exact
him,
dot network.
obviously.
Yeah.
Be brief because he doesn't have time. If you're brief, you can guide you. Brief and obviously it should be self-explanatory. Thank you, Raj. You've been phenomenal.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so
And
much. All the
hopefully come
best.
down and see you in Telangana soon
Oh
or
yeah,
Hyderabad. Hmm?
please be my guest. Would love to interact with you, and would love to hear your stories. You have done 60 interviews. Let's publish them. Okay,
Done.
let's see.
Yeah, here's a fact. I've met Jeffrey Archer, and
Uh-huh. Oh, wow.
and he's a big cricket fan. So we could talk about
Yep.
that also.
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely. He's a big cricket fan. Thank you
So
so
we'll
much.
talk.
Pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you
All the
very
best.
much. I'll see
Thank
you in
you.
a bit.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Absolutely. Thank you
Bye.
so much. Bye bye. Good night.
Good night, sir. That was an amazing Ganaba session. That's why Indian entrepreneurs, I keep saying, are great. There's so many people who've done great stuff. I hope you guys get inspired by these talks, and hopefully I'll be back with another entrepreneur tomorrow. And tomorrow I've got an agri-tech startup lined up. So come thinking about agriculture as the future. They've actually been selected by the government of India in many ways too. Okay. So thank you very much for your patience. And guys, if you're startups and you want to talk to me tomorrow onwards after the session, we could probably get online and chat about your startup. Be happy, don't be shy. And thank you for coming tonight. Okay. I'll see you in a bit, man. Bye bye. Thank you. Good night. Bye.